Hello everyone, it is Conspira Lucy, aka Luke here, and we are back again with another episode of Conspiracy's RuPaul's Drag Race. And in today's episode, we are going to be counting down the top 10 most misremembered challenge wins of RuPaul's Drag Race. Are y'all ready to get into it? Let's do it.
The world is your runway.
All right, starting at number 10, we have Adore Delano and Laganja Estranja's controversial acting challenge win. And I think back on this challenge, I really just remember how well Bianca Del Rio and Trinity K. Bonet worked together as a team. That was kind of the whole narrative of the episode, how they had kind of butted heads earlier on in the season with Bianca being like, oh, you're Beyonce. This was kind of the culmination of that when we really got to see that they could work well together as a team. And you know, Bianca actually has a heart deep down in there. This was controversial because we had Michelle Visage basically saying she didn't think Adore and Laganja should have won. And then Leah Remini's there and being like, she's like, oh, I'm gonna hit her. And Laganja's like, yeah, hit her for me. Number 9, we have Nina West and Miss Vanjie in the season 11 Diva Worship Challenge. I feel like the most memorable moment that we all remember from this challenge is, I thank myself. The reason why I remember her winning the challenge and why I feel like maybe she should have won is because she did do a good job, even though maybe she got jumbled up. It was live, she kept going, she was funny, she was professional about it, but you know, obviously Nina won because she is a professional, she does live shows all the time, and she really was the one that kept the structure of this whole challenge. But Vanjie just ended up having the most memorable moment of the challenge that when you look back on it, you're like, did she win that challenge? Did she not? Moving on to number 8, we are heading all the way up to Canada with Rita Baga and Jimbo in their acting challenge on Canada's Drag Race Season 1. Now, listen, this one's obvious. We all remember the, it's my special day! But it turns out that Rita Baga is the one that won this challenge. And, you know, I can remember her being funny, but I really don't remember anything she said, anything she did. I feel like, was she a granny? Was she in like a gray wig or something? I don't know. We all remember Jimbo in that challenge, but honestly, we shouldn't even count out Lemon and Priyanka. I got so litty, I split my kitty. That is so funny, and I still quote that, but I feel like we all look back on that challenge and remember Jimbo winning. Moving on to number 7, we are moving all the way to season 5 with Linacia Sparks and Roxy Andrews. I always think Linacia won this challenge, but she actually wins the second episode where they're lip syncing to Untucked moments. This gown that she made, she constructed out of wallpaper, and it is just immaculate. She has this whole like piece in the hair, like everything about it, like it's so sculpted. And yes, did Roxy make something? I remember it was black. I don't know if it was out of vinyl, but comparing what Roxy made to what Linacia made, I don't think there's any competition. When I look back, I genuinely remember her winning. I guess because her actual win and this win are so close. It's episode 1 and 2. Moving on to number 6, we are now in season 12 with Jada Essence Hall and Crystal Method in the makeover. You look back on that makeover and you think of Crystal Method's Bert and Ernie makeover. Yes, Jada's makeover was immaculate and she really painted her makeover partner down, but I just feel like Crystal's was something we had never seen before. She completely transformed her makeover partner, and it was so fun, yet there was also a fashion element. Like, it wasn't like it was just like completely camp. I mean, it was pretty camp, but it was nice to look at. I really do think this is a pretty misremembered one when we all look back on it, because I feel like we're all thinking about Crystal. Not to discount Jada, because that was a sickening makeover. Moving on to number 5, this one is kind of cheating, but we have both balls on season 3 of Raja. I think back on the hairball and that rainbow hair that Raja was wearing, which did she use tulle? We'll never know. I think back onto that look, or the look she made for the money ball, but it turns out Yara Sofia actually won the hairball on season 3, and Manila Luzon won the money ball on season 3. When you look back on Raja's run, I feel like we all go, yeah, Raja won a ball. There was like so many balls on season 3. She had to have won one of them, but she didn't. And that's why it was such a big deal going into the ball on All-Star 7, because Raja had never actually won a ball, and she made that gorgeous gold look on All-Star 7, but unfortunately her Olivia Newton-John Waters left a lot to be desired, considering she was basically just dressed as Olivia Newton-John with a thin wispy mustache that didn't really show up. Moving on to number 4, and we are in season 14 with the design challenge. I think this was the Glamazon Prime challenge, and this is where Georges wins the challenge in her, to quote Diabetes, napkin. You know, she had these like cutout cookie cutters, like sandcastle shapes. She looked the fuck good, but Lady Camden comes out in this like pool noodle, completely lined outfit, the blue and pink. She just looked immaculate, but she didn't win the challenge. And I look back on this and I constantly think, oh yeah, Lady Camden won that design challenge. But no, it was actually Georges, which how could you forget, considering how much controversy that look caused. Moving on to number 3, we are at All Stars 5's Snatch Game. We all remember Shea Coulee's iconic Flava Flav, with the clock and everything. She was so funny, but Jujubee was who really stole the show here. Everybody still quotes a sensible, 73? I don't remember the temperature. But everybody quotes that Jujubee Snatch Game, and how could you not? She slayed so much of All Stars 5, and if they had kept the top 2 format, she, mark my words, would have had the most amount of wins and would have won the season. But I digress, because we don't want to go there. Listen, I love Shea, but I'm a Juju stan to my core. Moving on to number 2, we're back with Trinity K. Bonet. She makes this list twice, and it is All Stars 6, the Rusical. She was Beyonce. She is Beyonce. You're wrong, Bianca. She absolutely slayed this halftime headliners challenge. It completely embodied Beyonce's choreography. She looked like Beyonce. I mean, I misremember this so much. I always think about her run on All Star 6, and this was the most memorable moment, and this was the most full circle moment for her. When you watched this challenge, I genuinely feel like, for me at least, this is where I was like, oh, she's the winner of this season. And then you see the downward decline, but at this moment, I feel like a lot of us really thought that she was gonna win the whole thing. But it's actually Jan who wins this challenge. I love Jan. Her Lady Gaga was really great. If you know a lot about Jan is a huge Lady Gaga fan, and she was actually the one who got me into Chromatica in summer of 2020. This was a huge full circle moment for her. But with the narrative of the show, I mean, this was Trinity's moment, but great for Jan. Now, before we get to number 1, we have to go through 2 honorable mentions. One of them is actually, again, from season 11, and it is the makeover. Again, it's Miss Vanjie and Brooklyn Heights. Brooklyn wins this makeover, which it was great. They looked great, but Vanjie put her complete mug onto Ariel Versace, and it was just amazing. But I think because it was so controversial that it actually stays in my memory. Another honorable mention is from the most recent season, season 18, and I left this one out just because it's so recent that we remember it because it just happened. But this is actually Mikey Meeks Drew Barrymore. I look back on that, and that is honestly her most memorable challenge performance of the whole season. And I feel like we're gonna look back on that and be like, oh, that was her winning Snatch Game. But it's actually Mimi Coco's David Attenborough that is the winner. It was funny, but it's kind of just like the whole like, he's sexual and old and it's funny, ha ha ha. Versus Mikey Meeks truly embodying Drew Barrymore. Like when she says to Kenya as Lizzo, she's like, yes, Lizzo. I thought that was so funny. But again, it's so recent that I feel like we remember. And if I did this list again in 2 years, we would definitely be having that one on the list. But moving on to number 1, if it's not already obvious enough, it's all the way back to the first Snatch Game on season 2 with Pandora Box as Cheryl Canning. Carol Channing. Yeah, I didn't even mean to do that. Me and Mohart were linked. It goes to Pandora Box as Carol Channing. Raspberries. I mean, we all remember that quote. I honestly, not to say, this is not to discredit Tatiana at all, because Tatiana did amazing and she was so funny. I genuinely think she deserved that win so much. And I remember her winning. For me, I look back on this challenge and I remember it as a double win. I don't even think they were doing that at that point. I think the first double win was on season 3. But for some reason, I like genuinely am like, oh yeah, they won that challenge. But no, man. Pandora Box has still never won a challenge on Drag Race, which makes me so sad because she honestly, real tea, I love Kylie Sonique Love and she should have won Snatch Game on All Star 6, but that American Horror Story could have gone to either Ginger Minge or Pandora Box, and Ginger's had more than enough wins, so let's give it to Pandora. That about does it for this video. Let me know if you have thought of any other misremembered challenge wins that I just didn't think of. Please like the video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. All right, you guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.